Good morning, all of you. Welcome back to the online sessions on the data communications and computer networks. Well, in the last sessions, we discussed about the various functions of the data link layer, such as line discipline function and the flow control and error control methods. So we have discussed about the HDLC protocol, which normally going to contain both the flow control and error control protocol structure we have discussed in the last session. And one more important topic we have is going to be the multiple access protocols. So we have in the syllabus Aloha, CSMA, and wireless LAN as the multiple access protocols. Now, what is the scenario where, or what is the situation where we normally going to use these multiple access protocols? So, multiple access protocols normally used whenever we need to access a shared resource. The situation is like a multiplexing operation. Basically, we know what is multiplexer. Multiplexer is an electronic device, a digital electronic device normally used to connect multiple users to a single line. So is what called basically the basic usage of a multiplexing operation. So this multiple access is somewhat related to the multiplexing as well. Now here in the case of this multiple access techniques, many users are going to use the single shared resource. So usually the shared resource is going to be the line of communication or a network. A same network is normally being shared by many users connected to the network. That is what called multiple access techniques. So which is a very popular technique, because always in the case of the data communications, so we really cannot lay the number of lines which are going to be equal to the number of users of the particular network. So usually we have to compulsorily share this single resource or single medium of communication or line of communication to multiple users. So in that scenario, we normally going to prefer this multiple access techniques. Okay. So here this particular protocol is going to speak about how we normally going to use the shared resource in the case of by using the multiple access protocols. So the protocols which we can think of is going to be Aloha, CSMA, and wireless LAN protocols. Okay, so now let us try to focus on this multiple access. What is the meaning of this multiple access? So multiple access is the use of multiplexing techniques. As I was talking to you just now, it is somewhat related to the multiplexing operation. So therefore we use this term. So multiple access is the use of multiplexing techniques to provide communication service to multiple users over a single channel. So something like a multiplexing operation. Multiplexer is normally going to convert something like many to one. When you have many input resources or many input sources, all the signals coming from many input sources will be simply transmitted using a single line connected to the output of the multiplexer. Exactly similar kind of an operation has been done by the multiple access protocols. That means multiple users or multiple terminals or multiple base stations or multiple stations or multiple, for that matter, mobile stations in case of wireless communications. When we think of, so we can normally going to have something like, say, all these multiple users are going to access the shared medium or a single medium. So in that case, we normally use the multiple access protocol techniques. So the multiple access is the use of multiplexing techniques to provide communication service to multiple users over a single channel. It allows for many users at one time by sharing a finite amount of spectrum or resources. So we may use hardware resources, or we may use software resources, or we may have a single transmission line. So or we may have something like a finite amount of spectrum available to us. So whoever user, okay, want to transmit their data, they have to transmit their data only in the given spectrum. So in that case also, in that particular scenario also, we normally going to use this particular kind of a multiple access techniques. So that means here sharing is going to be done by a finite amount of spectrum or by a resources under consideration. So therefore the sharing is going to be multifold. Sharing is going to be multifold in the sense that it may be used for hardware resources sharing or software resource sharing. So whatever it is, but the overall concept is normally going to be something like many users are going to access a single resource, right? So that is what the basic concept which you're going to have. So usually in the case of when we deal with the radio communications, so something like a mobile communication services, whenever we deal with mobile communication services, it simply comes under radio communications. So in that case, the wireless communications are normally going to have normally deal with the scared bandwidth resources. So therefore, that is what a finite amount of bandwidth spectrum, finite amount of the frequency spectrum is the limitation of the wireless communications. When we deal with wired communication, we can achieve whatever bandwidth we really require or we really want to transmit. But whereas in the case of wireless communications, that is what the main limitation what we can think of as a bandwidth limitation. So therefore, we normally going to have or we normally going to use the multiple access techniques whenever we normally going to access the shared resource among multiple users. So that is what basic concept of a multiple access techniques. So in that particular multiple access techniques, what we can have is something like this now. So we try to undergo various concepts here in this. The first one is normally going to be the introduction part. Introductions normally deals with what is this multiple access techniques protocols all about. Then multiple radio access protocols or multiple access protocols. Now we have another subject in communications called as mobile communications. So whenever we deal with these protocols, to access shared bandwidth resources for multiple mobile stations or for multiple mobile phones, we normally going to call the same access protocols as multiple radio access protocols. The same protocols, when it is normally come for data communications, we simply call them as multiple access protocols. That means if you really understand these protocols for data communication networks, you can as well apply the same protocols to the mobile communications as well. So this is what the advantage. So if you know these protocols in data communication, same protocols are normally going to get carried forward in the mobile communication techniques as well also. So therefore, if you know these concepts, mobile communications, one topic is simply going to be same as the current topic for you all. So this is what the advantage in the case of the protocols when we are normally going to think about. So if you know some protocols, same protocols can be simply reapplied or reused in the case of the mobile communications. So therefore, these protocols pretty much important for all of us to really understand. Okay, for all of us to really understand, these protocols really plays a prominent role because same concepts are simply going to get repeated for the mobile communications as well. In fact, whether it is a data communications or mobile communications, we are dealing with communicating messages or information signals from multiple users using the shared resources. So when the concept is sharing the same shared resource for multiple users, whether it is wired communication or wireless communication, we normally going to use the same set of protocols. So therefore, this is going to be a very, very important concept in the case of the communications whenever we deal with sharing the same resources for multiple users. Okay, so we have basically we have in the syllabus Aloha protocols, CSMA protocols, and one more is going to be the wireless LANs. So all of them simply comes under the contention based type of the protocols. Okay. So CSMA is called as carrier sense multiple access techniques. In the CSMA, we have two types. One is going to be carrier sense multiple access with collision detection (CD), and carrier sense multiple access with collision avoidance. So collision avoidance is going to be more advanced kind of a CSMA technique, whereas CSMA CD is going to be the primitive kind of the multiple access techniques. Okay, and Aloha and Pure Aloha, Slotted Aloha, Pure Aloha is going to be the basic, the multiple access protocol techniques which we normally use whenever we have a requirement of using the shared resources for multiple uses. Okay, and finally we go with the conclusions as part of the summary. Now, what is the scenario we can think of in the case of the shared resources? Now, let us imagine that there is going to be a shared multiple access medium. Now, this shared multiple access medium is going to have the hardware resource or a software resources which can be used or shared by all these multiple terminals. Say I'm using terminals here, say something like terminal 1, 2, 3, 4, so on up to terminal n. So all these n number of terminals are going to use the same resources for their communication. For their communication, all of them are going to use the same shared resources. That means there is no separate line laid for communication among the each and every terminals connected here. So here that means what? Say for example, terminal want to transmit some signal to terminal 4. So while the terminal 1 is transmitting a signal to terminal 4, all other terminals should be ideal. Then only the transmission is normally going to take place effectively. Otherwise, collision takes place. If collision takes place, terminal 4 is not going to receive the signals or packets or information transmitted by terminal 1, of course. That means that is what the scenario which we normally going to have in the case of the multiple access techniques. That means the simple method is going to be what called as a multiplexer operation. Say for example, you wanted to connect four input sources to a single output line. Then what are you going to use? You're going to use two select lines. If you use two select lines, 2 power 2, that means 4 combinations. So by selecting the appropriate combination by using select lines, the appropriate input source is simply connected to the output for communications. Now that means this change of these control signals or select lines of the multiplexing is done by using the basic protocol operation. That is what the basic logic which we simply going to use. That means it is something like, the multiple access technique is almost all same as the multiplexer operation, but it is controlled by the protocol. That means the select lines are simply controlled by the appropriate protocols, software protocols under consideration. That is what the basic difference which we normally going to have. Okay, so that is why those who know multiplexer operation, they can easily understand the operation of the multiple access techniques. Okay, the controlling is done by the protocols. That is what the basic thing which we normally going to have. So let us try to have a more look into this particular diagram here. So this multiple access control channels. So these multiple access should provide the multiple access control channels. Several handshaking signals should compulsorily take place while the signal is getting transmitted from one terminal to say another terminal. So the control signal should get transmitted. So these control signals are normally being transmitted by using the control channels. So that means all these control signals are simply called as handshaking. Especially we know from the basic knowledge of the microprocessors and microcontrollers. So in microprocessors and microcontrollers, we normally going to use the handshaking signals. So what is the handshaking signals we use? Why we use handshaking signals? In order to establish some communication between two parties, we normally going to go with the handshaking signals. So similar kind of things is normally being done in the case of the these multiple access techniques. Okay. Now here, let us see each mobile station. Now, when we deal with the radio communications, we call the devices connected to this particular shared multiple access medium called as a mobile station. This is what I was talking to you. When you deal the same concepts in radio communications called as wireless communications, we call these devices, these terminals, as the mobile stations. In the case of data communications, we call the devices connected to the network, shared network, or shared devices or shared resource can be called as terminals. Now, as I am dealing with the data communications, I call the devices connected to the shared multiple access medium or shared resources called as terminals. So therefore, each terminal is attached to a transmitter and receiver which communicates via a channel shared by other nodes. That means all these terminals are simply connected or communicates with each other with respect to its transmitter and receiver, which is decided inside these terminals using a shared channel by other nodes. So all these nodes are simply, now we can call in data communications, the terminals can be called as nodes, terminals can be called as devices, terminals can be called as a stations. Okay, terminals can be called as stations. So therefore, whatever may be the name we can give, doesn't matter, but the concept is that each terminal is attached to the transmitter and receiver, which communicates via the shared channel by other nodes. Therefore, transmission from one terminal is received by other terminal. So every terminal is going to have a transmitter and receiver. Say for example, this terminal 1 is going to transmit its signal by its transmitter, and terminal 4 is going to receive its receive signal by its receiver section. So this is what this point here, the transmission from any terminal is received by other terminal. Okay, by its appropriate transmitter and receiver sections which are there inside terminal 1 and terminal 2. So this is what the basic communication which we can have in the case of the multiple access utilization. Now, what are the issues which is normally going to be there in the multiple access techniques? So as we are normally going to communicate information from many users or from many terminals via shared resource, we normally going to come across with the issues. What are the issues which we normally going to come across? If more than one mobile station or more than one station or more than one terminal transmit at a time on the control channel to the base station or to the shared medium, a collision normally going to take place. Collision is normally going to occur. See, this is what I was talking to you. That means when you're dealing with only data communications, how we have to write it here, this point. The issue in multiple access is going to be something like two issues, most importantly. If more than one terminal transmits at a time on the control channel to the shared medium, then collision takes place. That means at a single point of time, if more than one terminal is going to transmit on the shared channel, on the shared resource, then the collision takes place, collision occurs. That is what one important issue which is normally going to come across in this shared multiple access communications. Next issue is going to be there now, what now, how to determine which terminal or mobile station can transmit to the base station or the shared resource. How to determine which terminal is transmitting to the shared resource? We have to determine that in order to avoid this collision. So that means here, what is the option we have left over? We have the option of only handshaking. So we have to do these operations by using only handshaking signals known as the control signals. So by using the handshaking signals, we normally going to avoid the collision of the data due to the multiple access techniques. Okay. Now here we deal with the multiple access protocols. Now how do we normally address these two issues of uh, stopping the collisions and determining which mobile user or a mobile station or which terminal is going to transmit, which terminal is ready to transmit, which terminal is going to ready to transmit next. We have to identify them. So that can be done, or that can be really performed by using the protocols. Now we know what is a protocol. A protocol is nothing but a set of rules governing the communication, known as a protocol for us. So here these protocols are normally used to address the issues of multiple access. Therefore, we call these protocols as multiple access protocols, obviously. Now, why we are using these protocols? For solving the multiple access issues. So these two are the issues which we are talking to you. One is occurrence of collision due to transmission of data packets from multiple terminals, and the determining of, to avoid this, you should at least determine that which terminal is now ready to transmit. So these are the issues which we're going to have. So what are the different types of protocols which are available to perform this task? Two types of protocols are there, called as contention protocols. Other one is called as collision free protocols. So in the collision free protocols, as the name indicates, collision free ensures that a collision can never occur. So it is always better option. Collision can never occur. Accident will never take place. Is always a very good option for driving a vehicle. If you ensure that accident will never happen whatsoever may be the conditions, it is going to be the safest driving method for us, for a vehicle to move on a road. Similarly here, collision free protocols ensure that a collision can never occur. That is what the basic necessity. The next one is contention protocols. Contention means what? It is something like people is normally going to contest for utilization of the shared resource. So that is what contention type which we normally going to think of. So contention protocol resolve the collision after it occurs. So it resolves the issue after the collision takes place. That means everyone is normally going to transmit their data. Everyone is going to transmit their data simultaneously. What is the problem primarily happens? When more than one user transmits data, more than one device transmit data simultaneously, definitely there is a possibility of collision to take place in the shared medium. So after collision takes place, then this particular contention protocols are normally going to be used to once again reaccumulate, or once again going to retransmit the lost data. So these protocols ensure a collision resolution protocol after each collision. So after now these contention protocols are normally going to give a solution after collision takes place, whereas this one is normally going to give a solution after by simply avoiding the collision. So these two are the popular types of the protocols under consideration. Now there are two types of medium sharing techniques called as static channelization. Next one is going to be called as dynamic medium access control protocols. So as we already know, static channelization, what is the meaning of staticness? Static means stationary, it never changes. So once if we have some protocols established for a particular channel, that's it. That is going to be fixed for that kind of channels. So whereas dynamic medium access means what? These protocols are normally going to change its behavior based on the conditions, prevailing conditions. Just like the coronavirus is changing its forms based on the weather conditions, based on the various conditions it has got. So mutation 1, mutation 2, 3 mutation, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, like that. So dynamically it is changing. Whereas coming to static means what? Only fixed, it never changes. Whereas dynamic medium access control protocol, it is always going to change. That is what called basically dynamic protocol, dynamic medium access control protocols. So here we are not much going to bother about the static channelization. We bother about the dynamic medium access control protocols for the real-time applications. So here we have two types in this, scheduling and random access kind of the protocols. So in the case of multiple access protocols, Now the classification multi-access protocols are going to be as we said earlier, contention based type and conflict free type. So in the case of contention based type, we have random access protocol types and collision resolution type kind of the protocols. And what we have in the syllabus is we have only Aloha CSMA in the syllabus. So these collision resolution called tree window type protocols are not used in the syllabus. And one more called as busy tone multiple access is not there in the syllabus, BTMA, busy tone multiple access. And Internet Streaming Media Alliance protocol is also not used here, not there in the syllabus for us. So therefore we deal with this Aloha and CSMA protocols in the classes to come now. Okay, so now we have this protocol. Now this particular structure you have to draw for the examination purpose, so that you can just simply classify various multiple access protocols. So various multiple access protocols are going to get classified as contention type and conflict free type. Under contention type, we have random access protocols and collision resolution protocols. So well, in the random access, that means Aloha CSMA comes under random access type of the protocols. That means randomly, that means somehow we will be trying to use the shared resource in a probabilistic sense. That is what called randomness comes into picture there. Collision resolution, which we don't have in the syllabus, which is normally going to use tree type, window type kind of a protocols, and next one is going to be conflict free. So in conflict free, we normally going to have a access protocols called as, we already know, something like FDMA, frequency division multiple access, TDMA, time division multiple access, CDMA, collision code division multiple access, token bus, and a distributed queue dual bus protocols. So these are the protocols which are going to be conflict free. That means there no there is going to be, there won't be any question of collisions takes place in the case of these kind of protocols. So presently we don't have this also in the syllabus, so we are only dealing with this Aloha and the CSMA kind of the protocols. Only for the classification, to write a short notes on classifications of multiple access protocols, you should know that multiple access techniques are classified into contention based type, conflict type. In contention based type, we have random access called as Aloha, CSMA, BTMA, ISMA. And in conflict free, we're going to have FDMA, TDMA, CDMA, token bus, and etc. kind of the protocols. So this is what there for the classification of the multiple access protocols, which we can normally think of. Okay, so I just wanted to give a gist of this Aloha protocol before we stop our session here. And so what is that Aloha protocol? So Aloha protocol is developed in 1970s, especially for a packet radio network by the Hawaii University. So it has been developed in 1970 by the Hawaii University. Now, what is the constraint where this particular Aloha is normally being used in 1970? So whenever a terminal or a mobile station has data to transmit, it simply transmits. So here in this case of Aloha protocol, how it is being used, let us try to think. So whenever a terminal has got some data, it simply transmits blindly without looking into any other possibilities of collision which is going to take place after later instance of time. So sender finds out whether transmission was successful or experienced a collision by listening to the broadcast from the destination station. So in this protocol, what happens? The destination station is normally going to send a broadcasting signal, broadcasted acknowledgement signal to all the senders on the line. So if the sender is going to receive this broadcasting signal, it treats that that particular data has been received successfully by the destination terminal. If not, if there is a collision, then the destination won't receive. The destination won't receive any packet, and the destination don't send any acknowledgement to the sender. So sender is normally going to retransmit after some random time period. So this random time period is decided by the random protocols, random access protocols. So therefore the name given here is called as random access protocols. So if there is a collision, then the sender retransmits after some random interval of time period. So this is what how we normally going to have in a Aloha protocol. And one more protocol in the Aloha is going to be an extension to the Aloha protocol called as the slotted Aloha protocol. So it is something like an improvement in the Aloha protocol. So what is the improvement we can achieve here? The time is slotted and a packet can only be transmitted at the beginning of one slot. Thus it can reduce the collision duration. So that means here the data which is being used for transmitting from terminal 1 to terminal 2 is simply being chopped in terms of time into small chunks of data, and these chunks of data are simply being transmitted. And here at the beginning of each and every time slot, at the beginning of each and every time slot, it will check about the collision, happening of collision. So thereby it's simply going to avoid the collision which is going to be which is going to be done in the case of the slotted Aloha protocol. So here the only thing is that something like, you know, it is something like in the case of sampling, more the number of samples, more is going to be the signal at the receiver side. So in the case of the digital communication systems, so we normally going to have sampling concept. Similar kind of thing is that the data is being chopped based on time slots, and a packet can only be transmitted at the beginning of one slot. So at one slot only the packet is going to get transmitted. At the beginning of each and every one slot, the packet is normally going to get transmitted. So that means what, some amount of time is being given between one packet to the another packet due to this particular division of the time slots. That means the transmission is not going to be bursty kind of a transmissions. The transmission is going to be something like, you know, one after the other kind of a transmission, streaming kind of a transmission instead of a bursty transmissions. So thereby what happens is the collision rate is normally going to decrease when you're normally going to implement this kind of a slotted Aloha protocols. Okay, so thank you very much for the today's session. In the next session we discuss about the Aloha and slotted Aloha in depth, about how this Aloha protocol is going to detect the collision and how it is going to retransmit the lost packet in the network. Okay, thank you very much for the today's session.